All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin, here with my brother Aaron. And right now, at this very minute, the Bitcoin price is crashing. We are down over 9K in 1 hour. It appears we're still falling. Ethereum down over 20%. Bitcoin down over 20%. In today's video, we are going to demystify why. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. And let's jump in. Feel free to comment where you're tuning in from. Guys, if we're going down, I'm at least going to have a sip of juice.
I like that. What are you drinking today?
Man, I'm drinking Therapist. Not sponsored, but Therapist. I need one in this market. Let me flip it. We'll go to screen share.
Hey, by the way, I think because I'm tweeting this out right now, I think if you have a friend who's interested in, scared about this crypto dip, it's a good time to tweet or share.
All right. I think right now you can see my screen. This is where we are with Bitcoin. Let's close this. Less than 2 hours ago, we were this is the day chart, right at a $56,700 Bitcoin. In the matter of less than 2 hours, we wicked a nasty wick down to a $47,800 Bitcoin. Right now we're trading at, it was 45, now we're at 47. Question to you out there in the audience, does this look natural to you? To me, it doesn't. This looks nasty. This is, what would natural look like? Natural would look like steady progression up or steady progression down. This looks, some say manipulation. I think we covered a lot of some of the manipulation and non-manipulation going on in this video that we dropped 8 hours ago. Bitcoin hodlers, it's a trap. Check it out. Cover the daily news and such. And while we will get a little more specific tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is the daily video. Let's just dig deep on why this crash. And by the way, let me check the chat, see where you're tuning in from.
I'll check the chat too.
Cool. 3.4K watching, smashing the likes.
Do you want me to read off a couple of the chats?
Do it. I'm seeing it too, but read off some.
And this is just obviously totally live. I can only see what I see in front of me and what people are commenting. Italy, help, no panic, fantastico, opportunity. Going lower, though. Peyton says, Maryland, Texas, UK. Oh, a lot of people are commenting where they're tuning in from. This is a global stream. What's cool about the cryptocurrency market, I think, is that unlike the dot-com bubble of 1990 or the dot-com boom of 1995 through 1999, which was, technically to invest in that market, the dot-com website boom, you had to be American. And you had to be basically an accredited investor, to the best of my knowledge. What's cool about cryptocurrency is that you don't have to be those things. Cryptocurrency is literally for everybody around the world. There are kids in Bangladesh buying coins. And that's why I feel like I'm seeing names from all over the world, all over the United States and all over the world.
And by the way,
it's kind of late, by the way. It's kind of late, by the way, coming at you this late.
Coming at you very late. At the end of this stream, and by the way, we are not financial advisors. We're just two guys that go over the market every single day. But I do want to answer the question to the best of our opinion. Are we going down further? Are we going up further in the short term? Is this a confirmed bear market, or is this the ultimate buy the dip opportunity? We'll check the chat at the end, but let's just jump right in. And before we get to what caused this Bitcoin crash, let's just look at sort of the broader picture, the macro trend on what's happening in traditional finance. And we know for the past 5 days, while we did see a slight uptick at the end of the day today, we've been going down. The two biggest reasons for that are COVID variant speculation, scares, as well as the Fed threatening rate cuts, telling us that that's going to happen sometime. And by the way, while none of those are actually factors yet, just the fear alone is enough to drive these markets down. 6 months, we're still up, but you can see the minor trend in the short term. Now that's the S&P. Why traditional markets went down today, or maybe by the time you're viewing this yesterday, November's 210,000 new jobs, that's how many new jobs were created in the US, marks the worst headline number of 2021. So that may sound awesome. That may sound like a lot of jobs, but it is way under what people were expecting. Let's go over some of these exact numbers. The US gained a paltry 210,000 new jobs in November, even though businesses took more aggressive hiring steps, marking a disappointing increase that shows the worst labor shortage in decades is still a drag in the economic recovery. So people were expecting much higher. They were expecting us to be on the up and up. Was not the case for November. We're just getting those November numbers now. The increase in hiring, the smallest this year, was way below Wall Street's expectations. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had forecasted over 500,000 new jobs, and we got less than half of that. In a direct quote from a senior economist, consistent with low jobless claims and record low layoff announcements, labor shortages are only worsening. And obviously the market's tanked because of that. Now, to put this just a little bit more into perspective, that's how many jobs we got in the last month. The US jobless rate in general, meanwhile, fell to 4.2% from 4.6% and touched new pandemic lows. Economists say the official rate is actually this official rate that they gave, 4.2, underestimates the true level of unemployment by a few percentage points. So I kind of stumbled through that. Let me just sum up that last bit.
People are going crazy in the chat based on what you just said.
Guys, let me know. Seriously, this is a conversation today. You let me know what you think. I'm going to share what I think. We'll answer the big question at the end. But let me preface this. US jobless rates fell to 4.2 from 4.6. So that's actually good. We're actually seeing a move in the right direction. So this is fine. But economists do say it's likely an underestimate. They're not telling us the true numbers. Nothing new. And this was way under what people expected for November. So that, looking at the broader sense, is why traditional markets tanked based on this news.
So people thought there was going to be more jobs claimed?
People thought there would be more jobs created. People thought, hey, and you know what? Before we get to, I think, Aaron, you and I have a specific anecdote. We saw this happen when we were in Miami this last week. It specifically happened to me. We were getting breakfast at the hotel. We were at an NFT conference, Decentral Miami. And we go to breakfast in the hotel that morning, and we're waiting maybe like 30 minutes to get a basic omelet, a cup of coffee. That's it. We couldn't get service. We end up finally talking to the manager, and it turns out he can't find anybody to accept his job. He was telling me he's offering $15 an hour to find a cook, to find another server, and it's him doing the cooking. So in this restaurant, in this hotel restaurant lobby, basically, while the biggest conference was going on the outside, meaning tons of people were in Miami, the manager of this hotel restaurant was doing the cooking because there wasn't anybody to accept the job he offered.
The manager was doing the cooking, and there was one waitress. There's one person on the service department. And, well, what was interesting to me, you mentioned $15 an hour, but also all checks were 18% gratuitized. So, I figured that would be a better server job than others. So it was surprising that they couldn't get one other person to fit that job. And we were there for days. It was just the one person.
I think the ultimate answer is he probably has to pay more than $15 an hour to get people to work there. I would guess. Again, I'm not managing that restaurant. Aaron, you want to cover 3 super chats, and then we'll dive into why Bitcoin crashed today?
Oh, yeah. Actually, there's 4. While you were talking, first of all, it's so cool. Guys, comment your thoughts in the comment section. I'm reading them right now. Benzie Box says, can't believe this crash. Bitcoin is only up 158% this year. Austin?
Very nice. Very nice. A little levity in the darker times.
Yes, yes. Going to the other super chats.
I'll read a couple.
Okay.
Bat Pangolin, dude, super, long-term subscriber to the channel. A little bit of a troll sometimes, but appreciate you. Don't be fooled, or another healthy correction. Man, I am pleased I sold at 65K. Got caught in April, not this time. Hashtag winning.
Wow.
I'm proud of you.
He sold at 65K?
65K.
That was almost pretty much the exact top. That is very rare.
Now I would bet, and Bat Pangolin, please let me know. I bet you are not 100% out of the market. And if there is something that Aaron and I have been pretty consistent on, is take profits liberally. Me personally, I'm not taking profits in Bitcoin and Ethereum, but altcoins, especially altcoins that have pumped regularly, take profits. Why not take money off the table and then just safe? One more super chat, and then we'll dive right in. Brainless Fool tips $5. He says $450 billion walked out of the crypto market tonight. Crazy.
Hey, by the way, before we jump, what are we talking about next?
Why Bitcoin crashed. We'll get right to it. Involving liquidations.
So why Bitcoin crashed, but really quick, for the Altcoin Daily Army, the OG fans that heard me today give my general thoughts on the Decentral Conference and us winning best news and best influencer, tied with BitBoy for 2021. Did you have anything to add on that? Your thoughts or the whole experience at DecentralCon?
I'm proud of this community. Like I truly am proud of this community. One of the best things I found at DecentralCon, which by the way, I feel at every meetup, is actually meeting people like that are subscribers of the channel, have been watching the channel forever. And because we won best news channel in all of crypto YouTube, as well as tied for top influencer out there, it shows that we might not be the biggest. Might not be the loudest cryptocurrency channel, but in my opinion, we have the most engagement. We have the strongest connection, and it shows by the votes. Your vote counted, and I appreciate every single person that took 30 seconds and did that.
We made a statement.
And speaking of a statement, let's get right down to it. Some of you have seen this, especially if you follow us on Twitter. We've been talking about things like this. As of 1 hour ago, over $1.79 billion worth of BTC longs liquidated in the last hour. Now, what does this mean? That means that there was so much options trading. There's so much speculation in the market, meaning not actually people buying, but just speculation in the market. When Bitcoin started to dip a little, that caused a huge long liquidation. So if you were saying to yourself, man, this doesn't really look natural, it's because it's not. It's because over $1.79 billion worth of longs were liquidated. Let's keep moving. We do have some good news. Because the market got liquidated so far, so fast, the aggregated funding has finally flipped negative for the first time in nearly 2 months. Now, what does that mean? I'm no traditional economist, but I think it's basically summed up in a few of the comments, like right here. Somebody asks, so because this now flipped negative for the first time in months,
the aggregated funding flipped negative for the first time in months.
Does this mean that this dump is not close to over? Thanks a lot. Well, somebody says...
Because that's all I want to know. Is the dump close to being over?
And somebody does say, this means that the risk of such dumps to that level is lower now. That's good. Let's keep going. Somebody else says, flushy. What's that mean? That means that we're under so much leverage. The market was headed in an explosive bout in one way or another. And that leverage should have been flushed out, at least the majority of it. Somebody says, there you have it. I do have 2 more tweets to read to you.
I saw somebody said, it's about time, as if, we needed this.
This is the meat of what flipping negative means. It means shorts are now paying longs for futures funding. It's normally a bullish sign. I repeat, it's normally a bullish sign. Somebody else says finally. So this is good. Let's let this load.
I just want to say,
Go on.
I just want to say before we continue, we have 7.7 thousand people watching this stream right now. We're talking about why Bitcoin dumped. We're talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, bigger picture. 7.7 thousand people watching this stream right now. Everybody smash the like button and comment your favorite altcoin in the comments chat. I'll be reading them. We'll read out some comments in a little bit. Austin, keep going. What are we talking about?
I want to just bring this home into summation on what's happening now before we talk about bullish or bearish in the future. Anybody looking, there was a lot of traders telling you back then, oh, we're seeing lower lows, lower lows. I'm sorry, lower highs, lower lows. People were expecting a dip in the short term, bullish in the long term. Dip in the short term, bullish in the long term. Now, because all that leverage was out there, and margin trading is heavy right now in the crypto space. When we dipped, it did mean we had an explosive, implosive dip hard. And this is where we are now. I would like to ask the audience a question. Does micro price action invalidate a broader macro trend? I repeat, does micro price action, what's happening now price action, does that invalidate a broader macro trend? Let me know. If we do look at the broader macro trend, this is Bitcoin on the weekly. And guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This isn't good, so to speak. The biggest macro trend, which a lot of people do put a lot of credit into, is this 21-week moving average. If we just look historically, and we could—
Can I just say real quick?
Always.
Anybody who is watching for the first time, make sure you subscribe. We do stuff like this on a regular basis. Go ahead.
And also this, the answers won't all come today in this video. I will be continuing this discussion. We will be updating you, in 14 hours from now in tomorrow's regularly scheduled crypto news video. So the conversation does continue then. But just looking at this 21-day moving average, we can see all through the 2016, 2017 bull market acted as strong support. There was nasty dips, 30 to 40% corrections, but that 21-week moving average stood as that support. Now, what happened in 2018? When we finally broke below it, that was the confirmation of the bear market. And for the next 1.5 years, we were in confirmed bear market. It wasn't until 2019 that some people called this the accumulation phase. We flipped above it, we rode it up, and it was only the pandemic crash of 2020 that brought us nastily back down. And by the way, you cannot control those black swan, big events like that. But just looking at what happened this year in 2021, almost into 2022, that 21-day moving average, that broader macro trend stood strong, stood heavy. We rode above it. Again, liquidations brought us below, but the fundamentals on chain were still bullish, and we pushed our way back up. We had a correction again, and that brings us to where we are now. We are below the 21-week moving average. What I'm going to be looking for in the next couple of days is, this will obviously level off. Can we bounce back? And if we bounce back, can the bulls win over the bears? I don't know. I don't know at this point. I will tell you this. Even though we have crashed, there are some heavy Bitfinex whales that just pulled their 40K bids, meaning they no longer think that Bitcoin is going to 40K. We did touch 41. There are whales out there, and we can see how they're trading on chain, that do not think we're going below this daily close that we're probably about to have. And going a little further, talked about that. And going a little further, I guess you just have to ask yourself, do you believe in these investments long-term? Are you a trader or are you an investor? Because by the way, if you're a long-term investor, you should be stacking these long liquidation cascades, which are essentially forced or non-organic selling. So I repeat, today's dip, you could call it manipulation. It was forced non-organic selling, and long-term traders are buying the dip. You ask yourself what you're doing. Check in the comments now.
I'd like to read a super chat. I'd like to read a super chat, and there are 9.2K thousand people commenting right now. There are 9,000 plus people commenting right now, and I'm reading the questions. And one super chat said, "Hey, I'd like to hear the good and the bad." So, do you have a summation on just 30,000 yard view, the good and the bad?
That was a question to me.
Yeah, like if you have this is the good scenario, this is the bad scenario.
Well, I'll just tell you what I'm doing. Like, bottom line is, if traditional markets tank, party's over. End of story, period. We saw that in the 2008 housing crisis. We saw that in the pandemic crash of 2020. People like to say that crypto's uncorrelated. Short term, everything is correlated. So if traditional markets crash, party's over. Now, that does not mean that, much like gold, which recovered first in 2008, Bitcoin can't recover first. And also, nothing yet has changed fundamentally for Bitcoin and Ethereum, meaning there is a supply shock still going on exchanges for Ethereum. Haven't checked Bitcoin in a while, but it's still near record lows. So what I'm personally doing, I'm hodling. Like, I'm accumulating the projects I believe in. I fundamentally believe that Bitcoin one day, whether it's 2022, 2025, 2030, will hit 100K. I do think sooner rather than later. And I do think one day Ethereum will hit 20K per ETH. And the rest of the altcoins, I'm just there for the ride. So if you are a long-term bull, then these dips are your friend. But it's all up to you. What's your risk profile? What's important to you?
I know some people, because keep in mind, just a day or two ago, for instance, Ethereum was 4,700, and now in the past hour or two, it was 3,400. I know some people who had some buy orders filled on exchanges for Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even other altcoins where, honestly, like for the past several days, if you said, I'm waiting to catch Ethereum at 3,500, maybe people would have laughed at you, or for, put any altcoin, you tell us the story. But I know some people who got buy orders filled.
True. And let me ask you this. What are you doing, Aaron? Are you buying? Are you hodling? Are you accumulating?
For me, honestly, and maybe if you watched today's video, you understand, or if you've been a subscriber to us for a while, you understand. I'm still long-term bullish. There's just so many things we don't even get a chance to go over on a daily basis, whether it's on-chain data or just adoption or so many things, or laws being passed and regulations, so many things that to me, it's just long-term bullish. So for the long-term holds, Bitcoin definitely, it's like there's still plenty of upside in my opinion. And 100K Bitcoin, for those of us who've been here a while, it's honestly, nobody knows the future. It's honestly a matter of when will that happen? And then there's plenty of other opportunity in different verticals, or whatever you'd say in crypto, like Metaverse, like DeFi, like NFT, like L1s, like L2s, like stuff like that.
I am looking at the chat, and there's a lot of people. Some people are asking where I'm at. I'm in Los Angeles. This
10,000 people.
Blue screen.
10,000 people.
I see a lot of people in the chat. There's some with great attitudes. Some do have that long-term perspective. I'm buying the dip. Dips are your friend. There is a lot of negativity in the chat. I see. That comes with the territory. Guys, we've seen dips so many times. Do you believe in these projects fundamentally or not? I do. I believe in Bitcoin. I believe in Ethereum. And, whether we go in a long-term bear market or we go bull tomorrow, I'm still accumulating and here for the long term. Boom. Eric Griffin, long-term bull here. They are identical twins, says Tony. Hey, final 5 minutes. We'll take 5 minutes, just a little Q&A with the audience.
Final questions. We will answer questions directly from the audience. So this is the chance. We're reading right now.
Opportunity. Jeff,
it's just Yeah, go ahead.
Jeff has a great attitude. Opportunity. Dark Crash says Aaron is the best. A Mover says, let's go, baby. Bought the dip. We do have a super chat from Crypto X Cyclops. Will y'all please do a video on Proton soon? Love your detailed due diligence, honesty, and will love your opinion on the project. Thank you. I am not familiar on Proton, but I will put it on my list to check out minimum.
Appreciate that. We try our best to provide the most value with the most transparency. Appreciate that. I would just say, like, right now, I'm sensing probably people who have been subscribed to us for a while can sense this as well. It seems to me now more than ever, there's definitely two different factions of cryptocurrency people. People who've been in the market a while, probably since the bear market, who know what a bear market feels like. And now there's people in crypto who are being very vocal that maybe don't know what a bear market feels like because they've gotten in the last 8 months or so. And, bull market vibes, guys. It could get a lot bigger, but are you noticing that difference? It seems to me like that seems like something we're all kind of noticing.
Well, noticing what? Bull market, bear market vibes?
Just that it seems to be there's a big group of people in crypto who have never been through a bear market and just generally are newer than some people who we've been talking to for years.
I'll take it one step further. I would say there's a whole generation of investors in general, investors globally, that have never seen a prolonged bear market. And I'm talking about the stock market as well. Because think about it. People that went to college in 2008, 2009, got out of college after, 2010 or whatever, they have seen their whole career and they have never seen a bear market. And that's scary because when one happens, and by the way, if the Fed keeps printing money, then they'll just keep kicking the can down the road farther and farther. But there is that whole generation of people that don't know pain quite like the pain people saw after the internet bubble or quite like the pain people saw after the housing bubble. Many people do. I'm talking about the new generation.
And real quick, I just kind of feel like maybe this is just me. Maybe I've drank in the Kool-Aid, but I kind of feel like 100K Bitcoin is inevitable very soon. If not, bare minimum 80K. So in that regard, it's like, I expect everything to have one more leg up as we go towards 100K. And then if Bitcoin's at 120K, then I don't know if I'm going to be able to say or be so confident that there are higher highs ahead for general cryptocurrency. Not that anybody knows the future, but it just seems to me like compared to every other bull cycle, Bitcoin's only 3x'd from its all-time high. So, and the miners are holding and people are still accumulating. Throughout half of 2017 is when we saw big people sell into the strength, and we haven't seen that yet. So,
and by the way, somebody asked me, Austin, were you liquidated as well? And the answer is no, because I'm not a trader. I'm not an investor per se. So also when these dips happen, like they don't affect me, like they may affect a trader. Somebody's trying to day trade or flip something real quick because, I'm in it for the long term. Again, whether that takes a month, a year, whatever, obviously I'm going to dollar cost average on the way out, but taking profits liberally and having that long-term perspective, if you're in a space that you believe in, it'll do you good.
Tell me what you think about what we just said. Give me your reaction. This is a live stream. We're all talking together. I'm reading what you're saying, and then I guess we'll take one more question. Let's make it the best question.
Well, I got a super chat from Mr. Will, $5. Do you think the metaverse-centric altcoins will still continue to rise, or could it transition to another category? Dark horse upcoming category. So his question is, do you think metaverse coins will continue to stay bullish, relatively speaking, if the markets go bear, or could maybe a different category of coins do that?
I think that metaverse is here to stay for sure, and quality metaverse projects that are here right now, and some that will come in a year or two from now, but there are ones that are here right now will continue to get better. Now, projects getting better is separate from project tokens getting speculated on. It's a fact. We're in a bull market, and speculation assets get overvalued and undervalued all the time. And where we are right now, prices right now versus the eventual overall top, it's hard to say what kind of difference that will be, and especially versus the next bottom, the very bottom. Generally speaking, good projects are here to stay. And if it's a long-term hold for you, whatever that means for you, there's still plenty of opportunity. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. And to go further on that, I would say don't invest into any altcoin without expecting an 80, if not 90 to 95% dip in a bear market. Does not matter how good the project is, right? Even Bitcoin, in my opinion, the best project in terms of the safest investment, relatively speaking, with the most upside potential, risk averse or asymmetrical upside is what they say. Even that dips 80%. So in a bear market, don't expect, to have safety in anything except maybe USD, the US dollar, right? Everybody needs cash or should have cash on the sidelines for when that time comes. And when it does, up to you. Will Metaverse coins be any different? I would say it would be lucky if they were. My thesis has always been the altcoins that I want to hold are going to be the protocol coins, meaning what you build on top of the dApp platforms, Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, Cardano, whatever that is to you, with Ethereum being that main blue chip. Like those, I think, have the best chance to retain value. That's my thesis. And I think there is some credence in play to earn. I think those will still dip heavily along with everything else. But if the game is still fun and people are still playing a fun game, then you'll retain the users and those underlying fundamentals will bring the price up in the long term, I would guess. Hey, Chris Chambers tips $30 Australian. Dude, appreciate you.
He was really cool. And again, it was just cool in general to see so many people at DecentralCon the past few days. That's the fun of meetups or crypto conferences, to meet people. We hung out with BitBoy, among other people, and we hadn't seen him since like literally 2019. So it's like before, he was a name brand when we only had over 100K subscribers. That's the last time we saw him in person. And it was cool to meet you. It's cool to meet you.
We have a super chat from Sainty. He says, Sriracha Inu, low cap gem. All right.
I'm not when a project is -inu, that it is quality, no hype.
All right, let's make this the last question, guys. Appreciate you. Loved having you on the stream. I can't, nobody can predict what the market will do.
And by the way, guys, this is the last question. Like the video. Make sure you say something. And Austin, what's the last question? Let's make the best one.
Well, no matter what the market does in the short term, you always know that Altcoin Daily will be there the next day or as soon as possible to talk about why and talk about the bigger macro trend. So speaking of that, regular video does drop tomorrow. Daily news covering it. Boom, there it is. Darren O'Brien asks, woke up to see a huge May-like crash. What's happening? So it's time to buy Meta and utility coins now and hold till April. I would say make sure you watch the beginning of this video. We did go over it, but in a sense, this was, I would say this was, May of 2021. I would say this was a May-like crash, and because the reason it was so nasty, and the reason, and you can look at the chart, you can look right now and see it does not look natural at all. It looks manipulated, is because it was leverage trading over $1.79 billion worth of Bitcoin longs, got liquidated, forced the price down. That's not organic. That's forced.
By the way, it's possible we go a little bit lower. It's possible that we spend some time at the lows. I guess what I kind of think right now is that we're closer to the lowest point of this dip, a lot closer to the lowest point than the highest point. In that aspect, there is opportunity, in my opinion. Anyway, Austin, I'm ready to give final thoughts.
Yeah, my final thoughts are that the market could absolutely go lower because even though fundamentals could be perfect, when we see shakeouts like this, it scares the market in general. Even, this is the year of traditional finance, institutions entering crypto. When they see shakeouts, even the people with the biggest research teams get a little shaken. And in my opinion, that does not mean we will see an instant recovery tomorrow. Do not expect us to shoot up, back to 65K next week. Now we need to consolidate. Now we need to see exactly what's happening. We'll have tomorrow to figure it out. And then that'll give us a better understanding of where this market is headed next.
I would say that we could talk about anything. I would say, keep in mind, the mainstream media is not necessarily your friend. Keep in mind, the mainstream media might have a different agenda than what is actually going on with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, even if that agenda is just that they don't know that much about it and they're not too interested in learning that much about it. Or if, the entities that control them or pull the strings or associated with those people, they, at a certain point, the mainstream media will usher in the public. It's okay to buy cryptocurrency. And actually, to a large extent, I think that's beginning to happen now, but it's going to get a whole lot bigger. I guess my overall point is that the opportunity lies in really paying attention on a daily basis and doing daily research, to put it broadly, to really find that edge. And there's still plenty of opportunity for that. That's what I have to say.
I appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, shared this 30 minutes with us, talked about the market. Like always, let me know down below in the comments if you're bullish or you're bearish into 2022. In the next 4 weeks, are you bullish?